Welcome to Bible Story Time, and thank you for joining us. Today we journey from the quiet whisper of God's presence to a vision of His overwhelming glory, a story that met a prophet not in stillness, but in a holy hurricane. This is the story of Ezekiel's vision of the chariot of God. The prophet Ezekiel was a man in exile. He was a priest, but he had no temple. His home, Jerusalem, had been crushed by the Babylonian Empire, and he and his people were captives, living by the Chebar River in a foreign land. This was a place of deep despair. The people felt forgotten by God, cut off from His holy mountain and His sacred city. They believed God was back in Jerusalem, and they were here, alone. It was in this place of loss, in the 30th year of his life, that the heavens were opened and Ezekiel saw visions of God. He was standing by the river when a great storm cloud appeared from the north. It wasn't an ordinary storm. It was a whirlwind of flashing lightning and brilliant light, and at its very center was a core of glowing, fiery metal. It was terrifying and beautiful, and from within the fire, the forms of 4 living creatures emerged. They had the appearance of a man, but each had 4 faces and 4 wings. One face was that of a man, representing intelligence. The second, a lion, representing wild dominion. The third, an ox, representing domestic strength. And the fourth, an eagle, representing sovereignty of the heavens. They were a living picture of all creation, united in purpose. Their wings beat with the sound of mighty waters, the roar of an army, the very voice of the Almighty. They moved together, straightforward, in perfect, seamless unity. They were the very engine of heaven, and beside these creatures were the wheels. They were unlike anything on earth, a wheel intersecting a wheel like a gyroscope. This meant they could move in any direction without ever having to turn. And the rims of these wheels were high and awesome, and they were full of eyes all around. They saw everything. They moved with the creatures because the spirit of the creatures was in the wheels. This was God's chariot. It was not fixed in one place. It was mobile, all-seeing, and all-powerful. And above the heads of these living creatures was a platform, a firmament, that sparkled like awesome crystal ice. And above the firmament was what looked like a throne of lapis lazuli. And on the throne was a figure with the appearance of a man. From his waist up, he looked like glowing metal, as if full of fire. And from his waist down, he was like fire itself. He was surrounded by a brilliant, radiant light, like the glory of a rainbow appearing in the clouds on a rainy day. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when Ezekiel saw it, he fell on his face. What else could he do? In the face of such majesty, such power, such holiness, he was undone. But this vision was not meant to crush him. It was meant to save him and his people from despair. The message was clear and world-altering. God was not trapped in the ruins of the temple in Jerusalem. God was not confined to a single place. His throne was a chariot. He was with them, right there, by the river of their exile. The God of glory had come to the place of deepest sorrow. This is not just a story of a fantastic vision. It is a story of God's unstoppable presence. We all have our own Babylon, our own rivers of exile, a job we feel stuck in, a season of grief that feels endless, a period of doubt where God feels distant and far away. We can feel like God is somewhere else in the lives of other people, in the walls of a church we can't get to, but certainly not here with us in our mess. Ezekiel's vision shatters that belief. It reminds us that God's glory is not stationary. It can break through into the most unlikely places. Sometimes God meets us in the still, small voice. But other times, when our despair is so loud it drowns out a whisper, He shows up in a divine storm. He reveals a glory so overwhelming that it silences our fears and reminds us just how big He is. He is the God who meets us not just in the temple, but by the river of our exile. He is not a distant memory. He is a living, moving, all-powerful presence. So when you feel lost and forgotten, look up. Listen not just for the whisper, but for the whirlwind. Because the God of glory is on the move. and he has not left you behind. Thank you for watching Bible Storytime. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. These ancient stories still breathe life because the same God who met Ezekiel in Babylon still meets us in our exile today.